Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tyranny. So, I have spent like the last 30 minutes or something selling pretty much everything. I've kept some armor around because I forgot to sell that, I suppose. But let's see, actually. Yeah, everyone's pretty much geared with the best equipment that we currently have. I also have a whole bunch of gold, like iron rings now. But I don't really want to buy anything from the place that we're currently at. So maybe I'll go to like what's it called? Lefton's Crossing and buy some stuff there. I'm not sure yet. I also decided to go back to two-handed weapons because I want to find a two-handed sword. Well, let's switch this actually. There is a two-handed sword that I'm kind of okay with using right now, which would be the ring blade. And yeah, it also gives me money. But I guess it's just because I want to use two-handed weapons. I remember my initial idea of why I wanted to use two-handed weapons, which is a bit weird, but it's because one-handed weapons definitely seem to be paired with sword and shield, like through and through. There's no, I mean, look at this. This is really weird, but it's like his stance does not change at all. It's just like, oh, he's pointing now, just because there's no shield there. But yeah, it seems. I mean, they're kind of they're not long swords. They're short swords, if that makes sense. Whereas these are not. These are not half and half swords. But they're kind of there, I guess. They're great swords. I'm very particular about what kind of sword we're talking about. I don't know why. That's just what I like to do, or that's just me. But yeah. I think there's only been one game ever where I actually had the option of using a, well, actually there's two, using a bastard sword. First one was Neverwinter Nights, which they refer to it as a bastard sword, but the option was there. It was basically just a massive one-handed sword. You did have to use a shield with it, but still, it was a massive one-handed sword. Um, There was also a long sword, which was a bit more acceptable than the short swords we see here. And finally, there was just a normal short sword. Anyways, yeah, but that's Neverwinter Nights. There's a lot more weapon variety here. Apparently, like, you can't even split different types of weapons into different types of proficiencies in this game. So, like, it's just two-handed weapons. Apparently, I'm just as good at using two-handed axes as I am with swords. Even though I've been using maces, I mean hammers the entire time, or for most of the entire time of our trip in the old walls rather. Um, I guess there's really. I could go back to the Bastard City, but I think we just go to the Burning Library, actually. Well, no, let's go to the Sunset Spire first. Because we can teleport there. How nice is that? And convenient, really. So the Vendrian's Well one is like the central spire. Everything else is kind of not. Who is Arasto? The man takes a deep bow. Arasto at your service. If you're looking for a reliable seller of potions, look no further. Arasto always delivers. I'm actually not, but the potions are an uncommon commodity. How do you acquire them? I have my ways. He leans in closer. Many soldiers fall on all sides, many of them carrying goods such as these that remain on the battlefield, wasting away. He solemnly nods his head. I simply make sure those goods, find their way into able hands. Yet again, you plunder the dead for potions. Oh no, I have people I pay to do that. Okay, wow. What is this? Plus 10 dodge? Could be kind of interesting. It's really cheap, too, as far as I'm concerned. We could buy that. Alchemist Ambro. I believe this is the main alchemist here. What have you made for me? Oh, sweet. A whole bunch of consumables. Um, I'll take all of it. Yeah, sure. Why not? Arena, who are you? An alchemist looks you up and down with an expression of open curiosity. Remarkably healthy, reasonably fit, evident exposure to military camp diseases and combat conditions. She narrows her eyes and nods. No doubt some worm has invaded the bowels and tripled in size by now. What? She makes a dismissive wave. You'll be dead before long. What makes you say that? It's a sad reality of military life. Too much time spent in cramped quarters, sharing a bunk with some half-dead soldier who can't control his fluids. Gross. I tend to keep my distance from such squalors rather, to avoid catching what I treat. She gestures around the spire. As you can see, but at your rate, it's all but inevitable that some parasite or poison will devour you from the inside, unless you take special care. Why don't you show me what I can do to treat myself and forestall this inevitable doom? I would love to help, but I need some time to replenish my stock. Come back later. Wow, you're amazingly helpful. Demiro, hello, hi. Who are you? Demiro looks off toward the stone sea. This is the furthest I've been from my home in Halfgate. He takes a deep breath. The air is a lot clearer here. It'll help with the herb's potency. You can imagine the difficulties we had with the edict in the Stone Sea. What have you made for me? Nothing? Okay. What about... Oh, what? I guess now we can't ask him about the Stone Sea. Alright, that's a bit unfortunate, but okay. So... we need more recruits to make greater healing potions. But can we make healing potions? We can. Awesome. How many of these things do we have? 24. So we can make 6. This is the thing I use the most often, so why not? Here goes our alchemy supplies. I'm sure the buffs could have been more helpful, but if they used alchemy supplies as well, then, which they probably do, then I might as well just get healing potions. The beast woman squats on her haunches, back bowed and face tilted forward as she meticulously grooms the long, calloused fingers of one paw. A mauve tongue laves blood from her glistening claws. She glances up, a jerky, startled movement at your approach, but there's no fear in her. Only reaction, an instinct, only a readiness to strike.
Fatebinder wants Beast Woman?
Right. I remember why the sound's quiet. The reek of an unwashed and feral animal, bloodied and battle-worn, swathes you like a wet blanket and breathes you through your mouth to keep you from retching. Never mind. Just one moment. I need to fix something before you start talking. Which is that. Flicks an ear at your approach. She continues to groom her pale, long gray fingers, brushing through the coarse hair, picking at marge and mud and blood.
Fatebinder wants Beast Woman?
Let's play a game. What? I don't actually have that much of an interest in talking with her, to be perfectly honest. Let's see. We should strategize how best to deal with our enemies and our allies.
Best way is with bloodshed, yep.
Yep. She grins wide, tongue lolling across her gleaming, blade-sharp teeth.
Fatebinder has many allies. More enemies. Which do Fatebinder and Kills in Shadow hunt today?
Tell me about the Beastman tribes. Nope. Kills in Shadow scratch the hip, claws raking through a rough patch of scar tissue, bisecting the jut of the bone. Gross. Let's discuss those in the tiers who seek to defy Kairos.
Humans of Beast Women lands, humans called Tearsmen, are many roiling maggots that infest, ruin good meat. Clever hunter would crouch behind humans like stone cover during fight with Kairos' tribe. Let Tearsmen die, so Fatebinder and Beast Women can survive. Win!
Okay.
Many humans live in Beast Women lands. Kills in Shadow knows Tearsmen pack well.
What do you know about the Vendrian Guard?
No pack was defeated by Kairos' tribe. Was small, easily hunted first time. Struggled, fought back to paws and knees, but could not have won second time. Was like hare challenging wolf.
Okay.
No, cute way of putting it. Though I think Kairos technically has two tribes that like to knock us around time and time again.
What do you know of the Bronze Brotherhood?
Lying kith. Are not brood brothers. Use bronze killing claws. Smell of tanned hide, blood, piss, and fire water. Fight like black-striped jackals. Laughing, nimble, reckless. Fight for trinkets, not survival.
Oh, that's why she doesn't like them. Okay. What about the Unbroken?
Strongest humans in beast women lands. Earth blood must pump hot fast through veins. Are tenacious, undefeated. Stand tough as mountains, even against disfavored.
Okay.
Do not get taken in by the Unbroken reputation. The people of Stalwart are fond of rewriting history in favor of a version that fits their sensibilities. Imagine that many people rallying around an idea, a story.
Mm-hmm. She scratches a hairy teat and bares her her blade sharp fangs at you in a self-pleased grin.
Lead conversation. Beast woman will follow.
What about the magical guilds? And yeah, this'll be good. What about the magical guilds?
Kills in Shadow does not understand human behavior towards mystics. Tribes should value, protect mystics, not treat like outcasts, caitiffs forced into separate packs. Humans fear and snivel, snap at own mystics, until mystics become strong alphas like Archons. Then humans grovel and beg favor. Follow Archons in droves.
That's a good point, actually.
Maybe Fatebinder understands ways of human mystics better. Maybe not. Ask and discover.
What about your magic? Nope, okay.
Kills in Shadow does not understand.
What about the sages?
Strange pack. Dispersed. Sage humans know each other, but prefer lone wolf travel. Are clever, harder to hunt. Smell of coal ink and rotted trees. Leave beast women alone most times, so Kills in Shadow likes.
Okay. What about the Forgebound?
Forgebound are builders, not fighters. Are like slaves to own human pack. Work without rest. Are weak and submissive, but can mold hard gray ore like pressing paw prints into mud.
Great ores, iron. What do you mean they're like slaves?
Forgebound make better than iron, killing claws and hard pelts all day for kith of other pack. Why give to others if have choice?
What gray ore, even though I already know this?
Rock, ore, heart and skin of Tarotus. Smells like iron, but is different. Forgebound mold gray ore to give tribes teeth and claws. Carve better, slice deeper than ones of iron and bronze.
The beast woman snorts and sneezes. Why would you call them weak? Okay.
Lead conversation.
Earthshakers.
Earthshakers draw power from Earthblood like stone stalker mystics, like beast women. Archaeans pack, yep, are strong, are disfavored,
Yeah.
but are tearsmen. Smell more of stone lands, more of Earthblood than disfavored, yep.
Yep. Do you share arcane teachings? Yep, I knew that was going to happen. She refuses to answer there. Have you had past dealings with the Earthshakers?
If by dealings, Fatebinder means hunts and killings, then yep. Earthshakers crushed Shard-Nip tribe in South Stonelands. So Kills in Shadow slaughtered pack of Earthshakers in North near Howling Rock.
Well, I would say that that's bad, except we've done that too now, so yeah. Earthblood, do I even want to ask?
Beneath dry soil, wet Earthblood beats, thrums. Fatebinder's ears cannot hear surging blood song.
Not really.
I'm certain this Earthblood is more an arcane or abstract notion, not actual blood in the soil. Her senses are attuned to something we're not seeing.
Okay.
Lead convers...
Okay, right.
Lead conversation.
What about Kairos?
Beast. Fatebinder's tribe. No packs well.
What do you know of the Scarlet Chorus and the voice of Narat?
Archon with many voices is vicious, cunning feral, good, desirable alpha. But pack is rank, has taint of rotten meat.
Kills in Shadow rakes a curved black claw across the bridge of her snout.
Pack wails, bleeds from relentless infighting. Even bulwarks cannot wrestle whelps into control. Strong are few and feud each other. Rest are many weak chaff, but Archon does not call pack. Makes aberrant. Dangerous.
Aberrant, huh? Interesting vocabulary you have.
Narat is the cause of the rot in the chorus. That monster is part of it, not outside it. Narat encourages the chaos and revels in the destruction.
All right. What about Kairos?
Fatebinder's tribe.
What about Tunon?
No Chorus and his favored fear Fatebinders more than Chorus and his favored fear each other.
She bares her fangs, darkly pleased.
Means Fatebinders are better war makers, better blood spillers. Would like to fight other Fatebinders, test prowess of these feared killers.
Not really.
But Fatebinder bows to Tunon. Cannot fight within pack without answering to pack's bulwark. Archon cold-blooded mock.
Bulwark is apparently a second in command of a beast tribe. A position often held by the most savage of beast women. And their responsibility is to enforce order and obedience within the tribe and carry out the Prima's commands. I believe she actually is a Prima. Or I could be making that up. Or I just completely forgot her backstory, honestly.
Fatebinder's tribe. No packs well.
What do you know that is favored in Greven Ash?
Disfavored hunting slave beast women. Only predators to rival tribes. Dislike. Admire. Envy skill. Want to stalk. Then want to kill slowly. Make scream.
Really? Because then your favor should have shot up with me.
But disfavored do not yowl easily. Have taken killing teeth and throat, carving claws and gut, and survived. Alpha laves pain from pack. Makes pack tougher. Deadly threat.
Okay.
You are correct to assume we are the more elite, but do not expend yourself trying to destroy us. We are the arm of the Northern Empire, and you would only bring annihilation upon your race.
Wow.
What now does Fatebinder wish to yip about?
I want your opinion on something. The beast woman rises up in response, lumbering over you. Pale scars cut stark against her dark pelt. She inhales a sharp, deep whiff. Her upper lip peels back above a row of sharp fangs.
Fatebinder's smell weakens, dims as strength dies.
Okay.
It's good to ask beast woman for advice. Even strong alpha needs cunning of bulwark at side.
How would you assess our progress?
On stealing territory of beast women lands, lands humans call realms of tearsmen. No Fatebinder claim territory of Vendrian's well for self. Is good for pack. Kills in shadow care outside of that.
She crouches down and scratches the lower curve of her back.
Fatebinder claimed Horizon Rock called Mountain Spire at Vendrian's well. Should claim more, take power as own. Become stronger and stronger.
Okay.
Kairos rules own tribe and crushes threats to territory with attacks called edicts. Fatebinder should learn same mystic strength. Even Archons cannot win against edict. Yep. Our best attack we'll use to kill, survive.
Wow, this is gonna be crazy when we actually have to fight an Archon. Which, I feel like this is definitely direct. I mean, I feel like we're kind of committed to that. What do you think of the other? How would you have us proceed?
Kill everyone.
Oh my god.
Become strongest. Is easiest, best path.
Okay.
Fear is best weapon for alphas. Give power over others. Kairos understands. To be prima must shed much blood. Must teach pack to obey at any cost.
What do you think about the others in our pack? Okay. You don't trust me enough to tell me about that.
Lead conversation. Beast woman will follow.
Had any good hunts lately?
Good, yep. And many more than 5.
The beast woman flexes and curls her claws in the air, the pitch of blackness in them suddenly striking, a stark reminder of their power, their ability to kill.
Waded up deep, murky stream near disfavored camp. Paw pawed in mud of bank, but did not leave tracks. Crept low and quiet to tent flap, scenting with tongue. Caught ironclads and dragged, squirming like hurt rabbits, into cold black depths of river.
She grins, boastful and filled with bloodlust.
Disfavored cannot swim like beast woman. Only can sing.
Is this something that I could ask her about just randomly, occasionally? Because I wonder if that would change, depending on who we're aligned to. Because if we're aligned to this favored, I'd assume I'd have a huge issue with what she just said. Which we were for a little bit, but not anymore. I don't care if she bathes, because I don't really want to make her mad. Let's play a game. Immediately, the beast woman perks up, back straightening as her red eyes rove you with interest.
Like playing with prey, or with pack. Would play sometimes with stone whelps. What, mate? Slaughter.
Her dark maws part in a massive fangy grin.
I'm always down for a game. Unless it involves throwing and catching. In which case,
What? Are you talking about fishing?
Is easy. Packmate chooses one of each. What, mate? Slaughter. If prey is chosen, pack joins ensuing hunt. If packmate is chosen and both agree to game, then pack gets to watch.
I don't get it, but okay.
What? I'm old enough to be everyone's father. This is disgusting.
Oh, okay.
Wow. I appreciate being included in this little... Well, I'm not even really sure what to call this. It's not like any game I've ever played, but... I'm gonna say nothing and pretend like I haven't heard a word anyone said. And then I'm gonna go sing myself a little amnesia.
Okay. Barrack looks at you and simply shakes his head in horror and disbelief.
How could beast woman choose any other? Would rut ebb good and hot fast? Would mate alpha and would slaughter, cut carve back to pieces, slowly, savoring while slicing flesh from neck. Yep.
Okay, I get it. Finally. This is a stupid, this is like the game that we played, and what was it called? Oxenfree. Well, glad I don't need to answer that. Okay. If you're gonna follow me, I'd like to know more about you. Okay.
Am best hunter.
She bows, scratching one idly.
Am
One of
last
her
of
teeth.
tribe who killed king vipers, Alarion, and thorn stags extinct. Am alpha.
Okay.
Brood mother. Can smell earthblood like mystic. What else does Alpha to Kills and Shadow long to know?
How did you end up with the Stone Stalkers?
Am not Stone Stalker.
The beast woman snarls. She bristles, flexing her back and shoulders before sitting back on her haunches.
Lost tribe. Left Haven lands. Migrated east. Was alone long time. Hunted many humans. Killed. Raged like undying fire. Then found pack of stone caitiffs, outcasts of tribe, who needed Alpha.
All right.
Could your tribe have been that different? I've run afoul of many a beastman in my day, but I find nothing that distinguishes their savage numbers.
Stake and see. We'll think kills in shadow memorable when insides are being ripped, slow dripping from iron-clad shell.
If you're not a stone stalker, why were you leading a pack of beastmen from that tribe? Well, I feel like this is a redundant question, but okay.
Is true. Am shadow hunter from Havenlands, but am last tribe.
She dips her head in thought, long tongue laving dried blood from her bottom lip. She worries the lip between her fangs and bright, fresh blood beads anew.
After tribe was slain, kills in shadow loped to stone lands, stalking on long hunt for disfavored, but soon became needed by weak whelps, by stone stalkers who had been slaves and had not learned how best to fight.
Kills in Shadow. That's an interesting name.
Best hunter is clever hunter. Stalks slow and soft. Pad, silent. Strikes fast. Kills without hesitation.
I'd like to know more about your tribe, please. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna tell her
Lead
that she seems to be like a
conversation.
killer, because
Beast woman will follow.
she's probably gonna agree, but I don't really want to ask her that. I'd like to spar with you.
Beast woman gets to play fight with Alpha.
She immediately perks up, salivating and snarling happily as she rises up on hind legs and swipes several practice swings to limber up. She splays her dark claws wide and pins you with an eager, blood-thrilling stare.
Come.
Okay. What? Before you could even step a single foot forward, the beast woman surges for you without warning, without waiting, tackling you hard against the waist. The force of her weight slams into you. Her muscled shoulder rammed into your gut. You both tumble to the ground in a tangle of limbs and hair and claws. Stab her in the gut. Is this really... Well, I'm gonna blast her off me then. Back pressed against the ground, your fingers fumble to form an apt sigil, and you gasp for breath as the power bubbles ring you and burst, slamming her through the air to land at a crumpled heap. Her bared chest sizzles, her fur singed and sinking, and she whimpers once, her legs quivering where she slides it across the ground to tuck beneath her. She is slow to rise, her movements careful and pained. Alpha is strong mystic, she relents, bowing her head to you in defeat. Then she retches half-digested meat all over the ground. Okay, that's interesting sparring, I guess. While we're here then, let's talk to Eb.
Second Spire has awoken to your presence. This is fascinating, and I admit enviable. If it turns out your connection to the Spires invites death and woe, my jealousy might wane a bit.
Well, yeah.
I've been mulling over that structure we found atop Vendrian's well. Would you be opposed to me studying the sculpture in closer detail?
Not really.
I'd perhaps work a spell or two near the structure. Simple cantrips of grave light by which to read and inspect, but I will not poke or shove the thing in any way physical or mystical.
Gravelight is moon magic. Shocking. But that's basically what that says. Let's see. Well... if you think it wise, of course.
Thank you. Next time we have a good moonlit night, I best settle in and see what sort of magic perturbations I can sense from the sculpture.
Okay.
What is it you need?
We should discuss matters at hand.
I'm still amazed we survived the Edict of Execution. The Chorus may outnumber us, and the disfavored seem to grow more aggressive every passing span. But we've endured our neap days. The struggle now turns in our favor.
Okay. Let's talk of something else.
What is it you need?
I have some questions for you.
Ask away.
I feel like they patched in dialogue, because a lot of people have voiced lines now, which is nice. especially for companions, honestly. Let's speak of magic.
You know, I normally charge for this.
Do you?
But for you...
Eb smiles, awaiting your query. What can you tell me about the Bane? Oh, never mind. What I know is largely taken from Master Camberl's work in some near-fatal experience venturing close to the old walls. As I best understand it, the Banes are bits of magical will that have extended their life, have an extended life of their own. I'm of the belief that they nest or reproduce in the old walls, rather. The only place you regularly find them. Our magic attracts the Bane, that much I know to be true firsthand. Again, this is personal theory, but I'm guessing they eat or drink magic, so our spells are invitations to dine.
Water Mystic's insight is keen. Have also honed claws by hunting Bane?
The beast woman sniffs and gives a slight nod. She rumbles a light purr of approval.
Well, I left out the part about all the times I've had to run for my life because I got too curious.
Eb lifts up the fabric of her sarong to show a deep scar on her hip. She chuffs happily. She shakes her mane and snorts.
Is nothing. His scar-brewed whelps earning second season care. Scars of near death are cut deeper.
She traces one of the longer, jagged lines that jigsaw her ribs and chest. You two can brag some other time.
Not only whelps bond from play. Is good to romp and tease with packmates.
Yeah, I guess. What do you know about do you know anything about the magic of the Archons? Enough to know that I'm out of my element. That is to say, I study the many Archons a great deal, and have a great number of hypotheses and conjectures, but, well, I'm no expert yet. And like most have invoked the Archon of times of past to work magic, the Archons of times past to work magic, I do wonder what difference of birth or experience gives one the magical potential to be an Archon. Most of my studies have been into the questions of origin of form. It's known whether we can emulate the Archon's magic that came before us, but is it possible to tap into the magic of Archons yet to be? So far, the answer seems to be no. She looks at the ground with a rumpled smirk. What can you tell me about your magical tradition?
Now, you know that's a very personal question. The knowledge I have is a centuries-old gift from the Archon of Tides. I would sooner discard my life than the sanctity of that gift. I will speak in generalities only.
Oh, so this is how you probably get the Sigil of Terratus. Ask. Worst I could do is not tell you. Hello. Tell me how you influenced Terratus' grave. Trade secret. And I'm not one I'm gonna talk about. The school ties dies with me, and so too will this. And don't bother trying to change my mind on this matter. It'll just get ugly quick rather. Can you teach me what you know? I suppose I'm capable of it, but no. The secrets of the Archon of Tides dies with me. Right, we learned about occulted jade. Tell me how you influence ice, mist, and other forms of water. With years of training. Now look, most of these secrets have already been stolen ages ago by the sages. Doesn't mean I'm going to tell you just because the secret's already out, but it means you can go ask someone else if you really feel so entitled to know. And before you ask, I've learned plenty from knowledge stolen by the sages. But no, I don't know how to do what Eb does, magically or otherwise. Lantry's pretty cool, actually. I kind of like him now. From what Archon do the Tidecasters draw upon for their magic? Occulted Jade. The first Tidecasters were given the magic by our school's founder, Occulted Jade, Archon of Tides. Though she was not of Kyrus' ilk, she was just as powerful as any Archon, and from her name and legacy, we could mimic the moon's pull on the seas and change the currents. And it is from her that we have these spells that turn the moon's pleasant hues into a baleful ray of searing grave light. In these years, I have not grown tired of the thrill of power. It's a rush of carnal humors every time. Okay. What are the philosophical teachings of your magic? There's a question I can answer. It would surprise you to learn little that we see all things, people, wars, seasons, to be, solitical? Solitical, whatever. Waxing and waning through their various forms, like the tides in the light of the Terratus grave. The mind is limited. We're born and spend our lives dodging death. We expect all stories to have a beginning and an end. We assume all things start up and stop just like us. In truth, all things are cycles, some by matters of minutes, others by matters of years or lifetimes. In the school of tides, we appreciate patterns of all sorts. Most are called to the depths, others find their interest skybound. Many still find the tides of human emotion and political fortunes far more intriguing than inanimate tides found in the orbits and seas. I'm guessing you could tell me more than I ever wanted to know about the moons. You'd be right. My magic is generally associated with the moon Terratus grave, but you have to know where the interloper is in the sky when mucking about with mystic forces. Terratus grave is the interloper. The interloper is the one that moves in the sky, if I remember the lessons correctly. Exactly. Interloper orbits Terratus. Okay, never mind. It's around Terratus. So, at a steady clip, its orbit sometimes crosses in front of Terratus grave, leading to mystical calamity if you don't know what you're doing. Terratus grave is the big one, right? Tell me about it. Terratus grave is fixed in the sky, always overhead day and night. It was first named by the folks living far to the east. They'd look to the west and see the moon like a permanent hill on the horizon, a grave where the sun dies each evening. That's how the older folks saw it. If you live in the western part of the world, Terratus grave is overhead all the time. This just means that day and night it's reflecting the sun's rays, and if you know what you're doing, it doesn't just reflect, it magnifies. Which is how she makes death rays. Do you control water, or do you mimic the tidal effects that the moons have on water? Both, actually. I'm amused you're keen on the difference. Our spells of ice and mist affect water directly, but are of limited volume. Displacing your own body weight in water is no mean feat. But if we're to move an ocean current, I've dried myself nuts moving the water in front of a boat a little at a time. That's where I'd use a cantrip to simulate a tidal pull. Have you heard anything from the tidecasters that left before the war? No, and I don't like entertaining the hope. Those cowards are all gone. If they didn't die at sea, they're dead to me. I reserve the right to be pleasantly surprised if they come back, or eager to fight the good fight. But I'm not holding my breath. All the brave tidecasters died, present company accepted. Fine, we could talk about other arcade matters.
You know, I normally charge for this, but for you...
Know anything about the old walls and the spires? Not enough. Never enough. Eb smiles, twirling her staff in her hands. As a child, I was terrified of the old walls. I think that's true of most folk. Now that I can arc grave light with a wiggle of my fingers, well, I think when I'm a shriveled old hag, dying in the old walls would be a great way to go. Okay.
Ask away.
Tell me about yourself. Would you like to know? Tell me about your name. Well, I was born Hazen Lavenja, but for most of my life, and I suppose for all the days after, I'm known and will be known as Eb, Tidecaster Eb, for those trying to be obsequious. I've also probably used a bunch of aliases that are going to haunt me at some point. How'd you get the nickname? It's one of those not especially funny jokes that stuck long past its season. I wrote the word "ebb" incorrectly on a written examination. Master Fulbach started calling me Ebb from then on. He claimed it fit me. Said I was a little cynical little shit that always sees the ebb, never the flow. Hazen, didn't realize you were nobility. I know. I dressed myself and cooked my own food. So misleading. Mother was a magistrate of Ardent. Father was admiralty. Well, admiralty. It's mostly meaningless, though. Our lands are now the overlords. Let's change the subject. Did you always want to be a tidecaster? So, when I was a little girl, what I really wanted to be was a Marine. The burly bitch at the prow of wow. A trireme? First to crack at some skulls when the ships rammed, rather. You know, an honest living. Fortunately, the school stopped me out before I got myself killed at sea. The School of Tides were looking for new blood, and my father was an admiral of Haven, so the school wanted me for political connections. I got to spend my first couple of years proving I actually belonged. I actually belong with the Tidecasters. That was fun. What would you like to know? What did you do in the years before the war? My husband was born in Apex, and he left his prosperous lands to be with me. So when the nest was empty, it seemed right we leave my homeland to see his side of the tears. We had a year and a bit to ourselves before the war upturned things. We saw Apex. I took him along my old sailing routes along Five Wives and Sunder. Those were good times. Then the war came in, and I learned that I would be one of the last tiersmen to live free of Kairos. Ever since then, I think Oathbreaker has technically been my chosen profession. Tell me about your family. Trying to salt old wounds? They're all gone, but if you really care to know, I had a husband, 3 kids, and siblings I didn't hate. Every family has its troubles. I was lucky that awkward and stilted dinner banter was the worst of it. Tell me about your husband. Palox Aldenos and I were married in 410. Aldenos was a Foxman of the Venturing Guard back... Oh, interesting. Back before they were starving partisans. But I saw him more as a carpenter. Woodworking was just a hobby of his, but my fondest memories of him are trying to shape something, and me making stupid jokes about the firmness of his materials. Okay. I assume he is related to Palox Florian? Indeed. I'm sister-in-law to Florian. Travast, Tyrell, and an armada of cousins. The brothers were all close before the war. A shame they died far apart from each other. Tell me about your children. There were the twins, Jerevnor and Lorma. Then my youngest son, Akamus. Aldenos wanted more, but I was nearing the end of my trials at the School of Tides, and dueling with lethal magics is a terrible idea when with child. Jerevnor and Lorma followed my husband's trade and took to the Falks. Akamus liked the harp more than people. Can't blame him one bit. I made sure my children could read, and I'm damn proud of that fact. Probably the only thing I did right. What became of your youngest? Without Jerevnor and Lormus, Akamus, well, he never quite... He took his own life in 430. Deb shrugs, her eyes glancing far away. I should have put him on that word again, and shoved him onto the high seas. He did not ask for a birth, nor did I prepare him for the bitterness of the life, for the bitterness that life would offer. There were the twins, Jerevnor and Lorma. Oh, right. I'm sorry about your loss. Spare me the sorrow. We've all lost family to Kairos. I just lost 2 in one battle. But even then, I'm hardly unique. What are the twins? They died at the gates of judgment, or at least Jerevnor died, run through by a disfavored spear. Lorma was at the battle, but I don't know what became of her. My fear is that she was recruited by the Scarlet Chorus. Perhaps she has a new name, if she's still alive. What about the rest of your family? My family's Haven folk through and through. My mother prided herself on being descended from Hazen Raban, one of the founding magistrates of the city of Ardent. She looks to the side, mouth twisting in thought. Sad thing is, they died during the conquest. But that's not how I lost contact. I lost contact because magic and travel became my life. Had plenty of time to get to know them as an adult, but I simply missed it. But that one's my fault. I can't rightly blame Kairos for everything. Well, that's admirable. How did you fall in with the Venturing Guard? Okay, actually insufficient reputation, huh? What does it matter now that they're gone? They seem the last hope for the Tiers, and a ninny shitting fuck of a chance is still better than no chance at all. It's still more than no chance at all.
Ask away.
I think I'll ask her a bit more about this later. So, for now, I think I actually will take a bit of a break because I'm trying to keep our episodes a little bit shorter. So we'll pick up with Ebb later, but hey, we now know more about Kills and Shadows, and she is semi more interesting, I suppose. Maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, thanks for watching this episode. It'll probably be marked as one of its, as one of the, midway point episodes, but, still, dialogue is dialogue.
I got it.
And we're learning more about our companions, rather than not knowing about them at all. So, that's a good thing. In any case, see you guys later.